Good morning, students. Today I will continue chapter number 3, Poverty as a Challenge from Economics. And today's topics are number 1 is poverty line, and number 2 is poverty estimates. So, students, in my previous explanation, as I told you about the problems related to poverty in India, and this is a very big challenge among the government and people to provide all the facilities to each and every Indians, and in which we had learned about the dimensions and causes of poverty, and after that whatever social problem faced by the poor, like social exclusion and vulnerability, and a number of problems which are related to the poor of India. So in this series today I will explain that how we can measure poverty. Alright. So students, first of all, the definition of poverty line is it is an estimated minimum level of income needed to fulfill basic needs of life. Alright. And a data given by NSSO or National Sample Survey Organization that if a person is considered poor when his or her income or consumption level falls below a given minimum level or data necessary to fulfill basic needs. Alright. And our basic needs and requirement is proper and nutritious food, fresh drinking water, employment, sanitation, and also schooling, etc. etc. So students, as we know very well that to satisfy our basic needs, which is different at different times and in different countries of the world, and poverty line also vary with time and place, and also from one country to another country. That's why each and every country of the world using an imaginary line to check out the level of development and its accepted minimum social norms. Alright. For example, in United States of America, if a person not having a car may be considered poor, and having a car in United States of America, that is a normal for all, and having a car in India, it means those people who have a car, it means they are an example of rich people of India, and they are living in very good condition. So students, on the basis of that example, you can understand that the level of income and level of consumption vary from place to place, and this is dependent upon the per capita income. It means whatever wages or salary earned by the people in one day. All right, understood? So students, in India, poverty line is determined by a minimum level of food requirement, clothing, footwear, fuel, and light, and also educational and medical requirement, etc. So students, these physical quantities are multiplied by their prices in rupees. Okay? And students, the need of calories depend on age and the work whatever done by a person. That's why food items like cereals, pulses, vegetables, milk, oil, sugar, etc. together provide these needed calories to the person, which is also vary from one person to another person. All right? And in India, the poverty line is estimated periodically, usually every 5 years, by conducting sample surveys. And these surveys are carried out by the National Sample Survey Organizations or NSSO. And in India, for determining the poverty line, the accepted average calorie requirement is 2400 calories per person per day in rural areas and 2100 calories per person per day in urban areas. And students, whatever data given by the NSSO for the urban people and rural people, these are different with each other because you know very well that villagers working very hard work in the compare of people who are living in urban area or cities. And you know very well that villagers or farmers or agriculture laborers doing very hard, very difficult and very tough agriculture activity a number of days for growing crops in the field. And sometimes they are doing agriculture activity day and night continuously. That's why the people who are living in villages or rural area, they are required 2400 calories per person per day. And you know very well that in urban areas, mostly people doing work like if they are working in industries or mills, then you know very well that industries are now totally mechanized and no need for any hard work like villagers. And in cities you can see hawkers, rickshaw pullers and also vendors and heavy bags loaders, etc., etc. They are doing also very tough job, but in the compare of villages their work is very less. All right? And in the year 2011-12, the poverty line for a person was fixed at rupees 816 per month for the rural areas and rupees 1000 for the urban areas. And students, the earning is also different from rural to urban area because you know very well that in urban areas and cities you can see always the prices of goods and services are high in the compare of good and services whatever used by the people in the villages. That's why these data are also different from one to another. All right. After that, for making comparison between developing countries, many international organizations like the World Bank use a uniform standard for the poverty line. It means minimum availability of the equivalent of $1 per person per day. Okay? It means any people, if he or she earning less than $1 in a day, it means he or she is poor. And who is earning more than $1 in a day, it means they are above poverty line, not below, they are above poverty line. All right, understood? Okay. After that, your next topic is poverty estimates. So students, one data is given in your book, like table 3.1. If you will see and estimated that data, then you can see and understand very clearly that there is a substantial decline in poverty ratio in India recorded from 55% in 1973 to 36% in 1993. It means due to the effort of the government, whatever strategies and policies and programs started by the government only to improve the condition of poor, whatever effort done by the government, our government succeeded in it. That's why whatever ratio of poor people was in 1973, like 55, now that is declined and it is only 36% in 1993. Understood? So students, the proportion of people below poverty line further came down one by one due to the only effort of the government policy. Now it is recorded in 2000 that the poverty again declined 26% in India. So students, on the basis of above data, you can understand that if poverty ratios decline like above 1 year after another year, then people below poverty line may come down to less than 20% in the next few years. So students, whatever data given in table 3.1 that is related to 1973 and 1993, so you can see that whatever decline recorded by in these 2 decades, still the number of poor remained stable around 320 million for a fairly long period. It means due to the all type of efforts adopted by the government, our poverty ratio declined, but still we have a large number of poor people in India. And the latest estimate indicate a significant reduction in the number of poor to about 260 millions. It means which was only 320 million, But due to the effort of the government in recent years, like after 2000, it is recording only 260 million poor in all over the India. But students, you can now estimate very clearly that if trends will continue like above, then may be possible in future our poverty ratio will decline as well as, okay, but it is the responsibility of government and ours too, that we have to do all the efforts whatever given by government to us to follow some rules and regulation by everyone, then we will cross the challenge of poverty. All right, students, understood? So for today, that's all. And in my next explanation, I will discuss with you vulnerable groups with the help of story of Sivaraman and global poverty scenario. All right, students, understood? Thank you and have a nice day.